to Build a Tent, the podcast on how to make you successful. My name is Matt Williams. Thank you for listening to the show. It was incredibly warm today in Florida, but I have to say, I don't mind it at all. I have never been to Florida in the summer before I moved here. Came out for Christmas one time, and everybody was telling me, the Florida summers are the worst. They're so hot, they're so humid. And yeah, they are hot, they're humid, but it's like the perfect swimming weather to just go jump in your pool and relax. You got to have a saltwater pool, by the way. If you have not swam in a saltwater pool, it is by far better than chlorine. You get out and you feel refreshed and you feel rejuvenated, and it's just a wonderful thing. And it's not even that much to convert from a chlorine to a saltwater pool. I think it's a couple $1,000, and it saves you money in the long run too over maintenance, because I think it's cheaper to maintain a saltwater pool. Anyways, Florida, I love it so far. It's awesome. A lot of you have been reaching out wanting to get together, which I love that. That's awesome. I'd love to get together too. I think I might just throw a how to build a tent beer night or something, where we go out to a bar and hang out, meet each other, and talk about, different areas of life or something like that. So for those of you who've reached out, I will get back to you and figure out something. For those of you not in Orlando and just want to come for something like that, hey, you can fly down, I guess, and you can come too. Just let me know if you're going to be here. And if I don't get back to you, please just reach out again. So much is going on. I'm so busy, and I might just slip, or I might forget every single person that's reached out, or I might, just forget other things, or just things in general. I don't know. So much is going on. I'm working on that incubator concept I have that you guys have been reaching out to me about, being excited about, and all those other things. So just a lot on my plate, but I don't mind it, because God is doing amazing things, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do in the future. We are part of the Fight Laugh Feast Network. Speaking of what God is doing, if you have not become a member yet, you should go over and become a member. You get a sweet mug if you put in HtBT in the memo field. You get a great course on selling, which if you are not selling, you're being sold to in some way, and it's good to know all the different perspectives on how the sales process works. So check that out. Also check out all the other great content they have, fightlaughfeast.com. Put in HtBT in the memo field. If you want to reach out to me or subscribe to any of the social media sites, help me grow those sites, you can go to How to Build a Tent. You can email me, matt@howtobuildatent.com. I'd love to hear from you. The Costco saga continues. It never stops, and it's absolutely amazing. It's so great from a consulting standpoint. If I was not a consultant, I'd probably be livid. I'd probably be super upset. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just trying to be over dramatic to ring you in, to draw you into the story. But as you've known, and for those who've listened, and if you haven't listened, I have been moving to Florida, like you've heard. And we had all of our stuff bought in Hawaii, so we are buying new stuff. And I had to buy a new desk, a new bed set, and a bunch of other things. And primarily I'm buying them on Costco because I love Costco. And I'm also buying a lot of stuff on Amazon too because I love Amazon. I'm not going to lie about it. Amazon's a great company. Speaking of which, Amazon had a package delivered today for us. And, well, they didn't. They said they did, and they didn't. And we called them up, and we said, hey, it says we got this, but we didn't. We got like 3 other packages today, but not the one that we were waiting for. And you know what they did? They just scheduled a new shipment for the very same thing free of charge. And if it shows up, you can keep it. You can have 2. If you want to return it, that's great, but you don't have to. Now that is amazing customer service, and probably Amazon charges the delivery guys or the subcontractors for it. So that's probably why they're so easygoing about it. But that's just a great user experience compared to Costco. Now I have been laboring, and I mean laboring, moving things in, and also I just got another Weber grill. So amazing. Costco has a great deal on Weber's right now, and I picked up one from there. I pick up a lot of stuff from Costco, and you'll even see some of that in the video shot when I go back to being video, I have my desk half made. But I had my bed set, I had my office desk delivered, and I decided yesterday to put them together. Now, these boxes were incredibly heavy. Usually I can just lift them. They say always take 2 men, but hey, I'm 6'3", 220, and not in a fat way. And so usually I can do the 2-man job with just myself. Now I'm getting older and I'm gonna have to be a little wiser on that because my back hurts like crazy. Oops, sorry. I just dropped a piece of my office that I've been fiddling with while recording, if you heard that. I'm just gonna let it stay there. So I get a dolly from Home Depot, which is an awesome resource. If you don't know, Home Depot rents out equipment, all kinds of equipment, from dollies to pumps to anything you can think of that has to do with construction stuff. Very, very handy to have that resource. But I go rent the dolly and I lift these 6 boxes, like huge boxes. And they had to be over 500 pounds each, up the stairs. And I get up there and I do the first set, and then I do another set, which I thought was my bed set. And I get up, I do the first, do the second, and I'm starting to think, these boxes feel the exact same weight as my desk. That is quite a coincidence. And then I get up there with the third box and I realize these are the exact same shape. What are the odds that 2 completely different manufacturers, 2 completely different items were the exact same weight, exact same boxes? And then it occurred to me, which I wish it would have occurred to me before I rented the dolly, before I lifted up the furniture up the stairs. It was hard. Like my hands have the red lines around them. My calves are red from the stairs rubbing up against them because it kind of pushes out. And I was sweating. It was just my back was hurting. It was just terrible. And then I realized that Costco sent me 2 desks, and my bed set was actually late, a week late in fact. And I spent my blood, sweat, and tears, mostly tears, getting 2 of the same thing up the stairs into my office. And that made me a little, I don't know, it made me laugh, it made me chuckle. I had some delirious anger, I don't know what you want to call it, but it was incredible. So what did I do? I gave Costco a call. And I kind of talked about this yesterday, but so I gave them a call. And this is what I didn't talk about yesterday because it happened after I recorded. And I decided I'm going to just be right up front, and I wanted to make sure that my bed set was still coming and it was late. That part is neither here nor there for this part. And so I get on the phone with a lady and I say, "Hey, lady from Costco," in a very polite way, "I have 2 desks. What do you want me to do with the one?" And she followed company policy, which is they will send the shipping company to come pick it up outside the property and return it. And I told her, I'm not doing that. I am not going to take all this furniture down the stairs again when it was their mistake. And she said, "Well, it's our policy. We can't do that." And I said, "Listen, let me teach you a little bit about leverage. See, you sent me 2 of the same item, which means that it's in my possession. And I have something that you probably want. Now, you don't get to just tell me what to do and tell me to hire somebody if I don't want to bring it down myself. And you don't get it to be my problem. This isn't my problem, Costco lady. This is your problem because you sent me 2 of the same thing. You duplicated the order. Now, you can not care about it and let me keep it like Amazon would do, or you can send somebody to get it. And it's just a good lesson, another lesson to learn. And I just love this. Again, from a consulting perspective, this is the most interesting case study for me, listening and watching logistics of e-commerce. But You could send somebody, but she could. So this is the lesson that I want us to learn: is policies and procedures are good, but they aren't Bible. They aren't infallible. They aren't perfect. They aren't gospel. And you need to equip. You need to train. You need to educate your customer service representatives, and maybe you are one of these people too, that not every situation necessitates or should follow policies and procedures. Now, how do you know which is the times to follow policies and procedures and which times you shouldn't? Well, that's what it takes intelligent, smart people in your customer service team to figure out, because it's not always going to be clear. But in my case, I was calling them multiple times, asking them to cancel because it was getting delivered early, and they were working. I should send them a bill for how much I charge for consulting, of how many times I'm on the phone. I think I've been on the phone with Costco for like 3 hours total, so I can send them a bill for like $800. And then I'm going to charge them for storing my extra desk in my office, and I can send them an invoice for storage. Because, if you have to have them hold your stuff, they'll charge you after like a certain amount of days. So why shouldn't I just charge them back? I should send them an invoice and see what they do. Wouldn't that be so funny? I bet they wouldn't even know what to do. It would take them like 3 or 4 meetings with legal counsel to figure out what the appropriate step is. We shipped this product and they are sending us an invoice for storage. And that would be pretty funny. But anyways, you need to be empowering your employees to think outside of the box with policies and procedures, and know when a special circumstance is in your best interest. Like, for example, for a Costco representative, see, what I could have done if I was not a Christian, if I wasn't an honest person, is I could have just taken one of these office sets back to Costco, returned it, and got a refund for my desk, and got a free desk. I'd still have one of them, and I would get the money back for the other one as if I didn't have one. But what I did is I called them, and so they were trying to tell me that I had to abide by their policy procedures, and that is send down the office equipment. And I said no. And then she said, well, you have to. Oh, why do I have to? I don't have to do it. I don't have to abide by Costco's policies and procedures. What are they going to do? Call the cops? I'm telling them they can come get their stuff. But their policies and procedures are the ones preventing it, not me. And so she was unable to go outside of the policy and procedures, which would be to Costco's benefit, where they would get their merchandise back. And you don't want that to happen to your companies, because, you could lose quite a bit of money for these kinds of things. So you want to have policies and procedures. They're good. They help give guidelines, but you want to empower your employees to also think outside the box on those things. Now, the second thing I wanted to talk about today is a really kind of interesting, more philosophical, theological question. I was thinking about this in Chickfila while I was waiting for my mother-in-law to land, which was a really interesting story in and of itself. Is we were driving down to the airport to get her, and we got an update from her flight status that it was delayed. And then it wasn't delayed, it was rerouted to another airport 4 hours away. And then there's conflicting updates from the carrier's website and Google's website. And I'm not saying the carrier just because I don't know whose fault it was, and it's not fair to say something negative about a company if it's not their fault, in my opinion. But so we were sitting at Chick-fil-A because, now we have access to Chick-fil-A like we didn't in Hawaii. Even though now they are going to bring one to Hawaii, which is, as soon as I leave, they bring the Chick-fil-A, so it's terrible. And I was thinking about this. I was thinking about a story of a business that I was consulting for free. It was over dinner. And I was just kind of outlining and working with, basically gave him like 2 hours of free consulting, working through some of the things he needed to do to sell to corporations, to do B2B, business-to-business sales. And it was just something, he had a story that I could kind of relate to, and I felt kind of bad for the guy. And one of the things that he's doing is trying to provide a service. I'm trying not to be too technical about it, but provide a service where there's a solution to mental health. And the solution is through pets, which is, seems like a really cool idea. And the basic idea is his dog saved his life, and so he's trying to raise awareness, raise funds, and create business, and sell his program of working with people that are having mental problems and providing them with animals to save them from this ailment. And I thought it was a cool idea. I don't know if it's really going to work, but I love helping people. I love taking problems and trying to find solutions to the issues. And so I helped him. I was telling him, this is what you need to do. These are some things that you need to be prepared for. This is what you need to prep for. These are the questions you need to answer. This is the things you need to do from a technical side. These are the things you need to do from a sales side and a product development side, and all of these things. And I was more than happy to do it. Love it. Whenever I'm in a meeting or dinner, I love talking business, and even though it's giving free stuff, but free advice, free consulting, whatever, I love it. So I don't mind doing it. Always try to do things you love. And I was thinking about this in Chick-fil-A. Is like really what this guy is doing is preaching salvation through pets. And in essence, if you boil it down, it's a false gospel, right? He is preaching salvation from your depression, from whatever mental illness you have. And he's not pointing you to Jesus, he's pointing you to animals. And I know he's not claiming to be religious, and he probably is not even religious himself. I don't know. I didn't get into that with him. But what mentally ill people need, obviously they need help at times. They also need medication and all that stuff. But what we really need is Jesus. And he's not selling that. And I just thought that was an interesting thought to think about from a Christian perspective. And I'd love to hear from your guys' perspective on this too. Is as Christians, and our primary goal is to preach the gospel, to declare that Jesus is Lord in every area of life, and that he is our remedy. He is our solution. He is our cure to our sin. He is the righteous one who can deliver us from all of the ramifications of sin as well. Not just sin itself, not just the curse of death, but the ramifications, the impact of sin. He can give us grace and mercy and pull us out. He can give us the power and strength. I am testament of that. I was bipolar. I was wildly bipolar before I became a Christian, and nowadays it's a lot more mild. Sometimes I struggle at the lows, and sometimes I still have those highs that I got to pull myself back from, which honestly the highs can be more dangerous than the lows. Gets you into trouble. But that's neither here nor there. So this is my question that I've been mulling around. Like in these cases where people are offering solutions like, pets to the mentally ill, should we as Christians be helping and fostering them and promoting them, even if they're not proclaiming Jesus, or even having a kind of a secondary approach that maybe they were Christians and they're just using animals, rescue animals for whatever reason, mental illness or whatnot. Do you think it's wrong for us to not to be supporting them? And should we only be supporting companies or Christians that are doctors or have these programs or whatever that are going to be proclaiming Christ as well? Now, it might be a little too harsh to say that he's preaching a false gospel. Maybe it isn't too harsh to say. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about that. And be thinking about that yourself. Are there areas in your life where it seemed harmless, but wait a minute, Christ is completely missing from this scenario? And then you can think of it from other perspectives, like, well, can you consult for a non-Christian that's selling desks? But I think it's just a little different because it is your mental and is kind of linked to your soul. And anyways, that's what I was thinking about in Chick-fil-A. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. You can email me, matt@howtobuildatent.com. You can find me on the social media sites, How to Build a Tent. Now that I am moved in and starting to finally settle in, I can answer emails a lot quicker. So please reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe. Please tag a friend. Share the show with a friend. I would really appreciate that. And have a great week. And man, this week has just flown by. I can't believe how fast it's like when you're going nonstop, it just flies by. So have a great weekend. Make sure you get some rest, and we'll talk to you Monday. Let's go out and be successful.